Hi, welcome to Adventure Day. I'm Megan Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of Tree House Hollow Preschool, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about our Adventure Day program. A long time ago, when we only had our Creekside Campus, we were really finding the need to want to provide more opportunities for kids to get to explore in nature, have more risky play opportunities, and see different places in their surrounding world. So we bought a big passenger van that we outfitted with car seats and made our adventure program. Any children that come 3 or more days a week has one of their days as Adventure Day. Some kids that come 5 days a week even get the opportunity to go twice in the week. Their Adventure Day is always the same day every week. So if your child is on Thursday, it's always going to be Thursday for them, which makes it easier to pack and prepare and have that as part of your routine. And they're always with the same group of kids and teachers for the most part. Sometimes the teachers will sub in and out, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent. So when we started our Adventure Day program, we decided to go out and explore the regional parks around us. Luckily in Sonoma County, there's so many diverse places to go. All of our Adventure Day locations are pretty much at a max of 30 minutes away from our school. That allows us time to get to a diverse amount of locations, but also not spend the whole day in the van driving there. So we will get in the van, drive to a location, have a few solid hours there for the kids to play. Then we load back in the van and we're back by 1 o'clock pickup. When we're selecting our Adventure Day location, we take a lot of factors into account. What the space has to offer and also the weather. When it's going to be a really hot day or even a kind of stormy day, often we'll come somewhere that has a little more shelter for us. And we'll go ahead and stay at a location for at least 3 weeks in a row so that the kids really have the time to come back and investigate the space in a deeper way. You know, the first time you go to a location, you only see what's on the top, and the more you keep going somewhere, the more that you can see all that that place has to offer.
So the flow of our Adventure Day, it varies every day, but it does follow a rough structure, and that structure looks like us meeting at the van between 8:50 and 9, and we all work together to get into our car seats, and typically we like to leave as soon as possible, but no later than 9:15. So we drive to our location, and our drive time varies. Sometimes it's 5 minutes if we're going to somewhere nearby like Regal, and then sometimes our drive time can be up to 25 minutes if it's somewhere like Crane Creek. But we do try to keep our drive times under 20 minutes. That way the kids have the most time to spend playing in nature. Once we arrive at our location, we unload the van and we all walk to our initial snack or play spot. And after we walk to our spot, we wash our hands, we eat some food, and then typically we'll check in about what our plan is for the day. And that's when our adventure starts. So sometimes we stay in that particular spot all day long and just play there. And then sometimes we choose to walk away from that spot. So we'll go on a walk to the river, or we'll go walk to some climbing trees, or we'll decide we want to follow cows up the road. It just depends on what our interest is for the day. After we've had our big adventure, we typically head back to our snack spot where we return for lunch. We eat our lunch, and then we pack up and we head back in the van. And typically we arrive at school somewhere in between 12:50 and 1. And then from there, 1 o'clock pickups get picked up, And then if you're an aftercare kid, a teacher will take you down to the classroom and aftercare will begin.
On Adventure Day, we love to have that big section of uninterrupted time in nature, and that allows the kids to really dive deep, like I said. So the kids will often climb trees, test out their balancing skills, play in the water a little bit, investigate all of the natural world around them by looking for bugs and at tree bark and noticing the plants and the animals around here and the different places that we go. And also just having fun with their friends, problem solving and using their imaginations in the natural world. For our unstructured time in nature, we try not to make a lot of plans. So what we'll do is really go to a location and just explore what it has to offer. Sometimes we stay in one spot the entire day if the kids are really engaged there. Or sometimes we have groups that really need to move their bodies and they want to hike and go a little bit further. And so we will follow those groups based on the needs of the groups and what their interests are.
We get a lot of questions from parents about how we keep track of the children on Adventure Day. The sites that we play at, there are no walls, there aren't any physical boundaries, so we rely upon a lot of teaching tools to make sure the children stay with the group. Some of those teaching tools are animal calls. So we have a few different animal calls. We have a coyote call, we have a rooster call, we have a crow call, as well as an owl call. And all of those calls are signals to the children to let them know if they should, for example, rejoin the group. So that would be our coyote call, or if we are looking for them. So for example, that would be the owl call. And those calls really do help us create kind of these invisible walls that keep the children playing within a specific area. Another tool that we use is a safety check-in. So before we start playing in a specific area, we all gather as a group and we check in about our boundaries. So often our boundaries will be marked by certain trees or a fallen log or a trash can, and all of those boundaries, the kids work really hard to stay within them. And for example, if a kid runs out of the boundary, we use our crow call, and that signals to the child that they need to stop, turn around, find a teacher's eyes, because we have a message for them. So another tool that we use as teachers to keep track of the kids is simply just knowing them. And throughout the course of our school year, we get to know each child very well. And certain children, as we learn them, we realize that they might like to explore farther away from the group, and those children, we usually just make sure that we're standing closer to them. Maybe we're following them physically throughout their day, of course in a really subtle way where we're like 20 feet behind them, as well as when it's time to transition, we might give them some extra reminders or even have them help us with, for example, the coyote call. One of the best parts about Adventure Day is we get to do nature potties. And what a nature potty is using the bathroom outdoors. So we do nature pees and we also do nature poops. So usually after snack time or right before we get back in the van, we will make a call to everyone that it's time to use the potty. And we will all head to a more covered, protected, like private area, usually in some trees or behind a rock, and we will go nature pee. If a child needs to go nature poop, then we use our travel potty. And after we use the potty, just like the classroom, we wash our hands.
One of my favorite things about our Adventure Day program is all of the rich opportunities for risky play. If you haven't heard about risky play, it's just the sense that kids are pushing their own boundaries and scaffolding their skills. Even babies do it. That's how we learn as humans in the world. And so kids have so many opportunities on Adventure Day to test out their balance, to see if they can climb a little higher, to jump from one rock to another, to feel all the sensations of a puddle. And we love that kind of rich environment, and we support risky play in a lot of different ways.
So each week you will be sent an email describing our location as well as clothes recommendations. And our clothes recommendations take the weather in mind. So I would highly suggest, besides looking at the email I send every week, to check the weather yourself, because the weather is pretty fickle and sometimes it changes day by day. And another important part of keeping your child safe on adventure day is making sure that they are dressed for the weather. So that could mean wearing rain gear, that could mean wearing a hat and sunscreen. It just depends on the type of weather that we're experiencing. So one of the biggest pieces of safety on adventure day is making sure you're prepared with the proper gear. And one piece of important gear is your child's backpack. So on adventure day, they're required to carry a smaller sized backpack. The reason that we ask that the backpacks are small is because young children shouldn't be carrying more than 20% of their body weight. So at school, you're welcome to loan one of our school backpacks. It's these REI ones. But you're also welcome to purchase your own backpack as long as it meets our backpack requirements. Inside your backpack, your child is required to bring a full water bottle. They also need to have a full lunch and snack. And we also require seasonally appropriate extra clothes. So for example, during this time of the year when it's warm, the extra clothes might look like a t-shirt and a pair of leggings, some socks, and some underwear. And these extra clothes are really important because if a child has an accident or is exploring in a wet space, then it ensures that their body can stay dry. Another really important piece of safety equipment is their rain gear. So there is a list of required materials that will be sent out to you. And on that list is a particular set of rain gear that we recommend. Along with that rain gear that we recommend are rain boots, sandals. I highly recommend thermal underwear and long sleeves. So you can check that list out if you need some help with figuring out what is good gear to keep your child safe. One of the most important reasons why your child should be seasonally dressed is because their clothes are what keep their body safe. So if they are wearing short sleeves and shorts when it is 50 degrees out, they might potentially get really cold and not enjoy their day, as well as their body might not be safe. If it is really hot out and we are playing in the sun, which we try not to play in the sun if it's really hot out, but if that does happen, ideally they do have a hat and sunscreen. So typically, like, our clothing choices truly are what keep us the most safe while we're playing outdoors.
Adventure Day is one of the most treasured parts of our program, and we're so happy that we can provide it to the wider student community instead of having it be such a small subset. And we love when parents can join us on Adventure Day too. So if you're ever interested, just let us know and we'll have you come out and spend the day with us in nature. Well, that's just a little bit about our adventure program to give you kind of an idea of what to expect. And we have, of course, all of the details in a lot of our handouts that we give to you and during our orientation. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.